It is my hope that you are doing well. Welcome to this video where we are going to talk about translating new piece of music. There are some things which we have to consider before translating the music. Number one is the type of clefs used. In the example on the screen, you can see that the piece is written in 3 staves: staff 1, staff 2, staff 3, which is equivalent to the number of clefs used. That is clef 1, clef 2, clef 3. They are all treble clefs, and when you take a look, the third clef, it has an 8. It has 8 over here, and this 8 is used to indicate that the clef or the staff, the notes on the staff, are an octave lower. That is, if Do initially would start at this point without the 8, like for example the second staff over here, the clef doesn't have an 8. So let's say for example the Do begins at this point. Now with the 8 indicated below the clef, Do would begin an octave lower. Remember we said as you move to the right, we have the high notes, and as you move to the left, we have low notes. So the Do would begin an octave lower. An octave is made up of 8, and it will be the 8th one from this direction, an octave lower. So number one, we have to identify the clefs used. Number two, we identify the key signature, and we said that the key signature is placed in between the clef and the time signature. You can see from our example, the key signature is exactly in between the clef and the time signature. So we identify the key signature, and more importantly about the key signature is the order. We say that key signature can be represented by either sharps or flats. So what we need to remember is the order of key signatures with sharps and the order of key signatures with flats. And that is major scales with sharps and major scales with flats. The order of major scales with sharps, which is represented by this sign, we said we have major scale C, which has no sharps. Then we have G, which has 1 sharp, and the order follows as shown on the screen. Can say go down and enter by force courageously. That is the order of major scales with sharps. The order of major scales with flats is as shown on the screen. We have C major has no flats. Then we have F with 1 flat, B with 2 flats, and the order continues as shown on the screen. Can say flats become easy after doing good cramming, or whatever the case, provided that the order will be F, B, E, A, D, G, C. In our example, the key signature is represented by flats, and there are 4 of them in each case. Can count and see that they are 4. So the key represented by 4 flats, we have key A flat major. It is the key which has 4 flats. Remember, if it would be 3, it would be this key. It would be 2 key B. It would be 6 key G. But in our case, we have 4 flats. That's why it is key A flat major. So from our score, we'll name the lines and spaces in accordance to the clef used, then identify where our A is, and that is where our do will begin, or the leading note will begin where we have A on the score, then translate the others in reference to our leading note do. Number 3, we have to look at the time signature, which is represented by a numerator and a denominator. That is 2 numbers. They are of different kinds, and from our example, we have 2, 4. This is simple time signature 2, 4. We said that the numerator, which is the top number, shows the number of beats per bar or measure, and the denominator shows the type of note receiving 1 beat. The other thing which we have to look at is the tempo. That is the speed of the song. Sometimes it can be indicated using some words or letters like andante, allegro. Other times it can be indicated using a value like this one shown on the screen. That is 1 beat is equals to 85. That is within 1 minute we have to play 85 crochets. At least 85 crochets. So having identified all those, we now translate our song in reference to A. And A is in the second space using the formula phase in naming spaces from a treble clef. So our leading note do is in the second space. Naming the first note will be do, ti, la, so in reference the second space do, ti, la, so. So the position will be so, and I will indicate with a small s over here to mean so. You can see that there are 3 in this bar, so I will simply indicate like that as shown on the screen. Then proceed to the next notes in reference to the second space, that is do. They are in the position do. So because they are 2, I'll indicate do, do, as shown on the screen. Then proceed to the next note, which will be in the third space in reference to the second space, that is do, that is do, re, mi. I will indicate with mi as shown on the screen. Then proceed to the next notes which are in space 4. In reference to the space 2 is do, re, mi, fa, so. Or I can take my previous note as my reference, mi, fa, so. Remember we said that it is good for you to be able to sound the solfas from any direction. So the position is mi, fa, so, and because they are 2, I indicate with 2, so as shown on the screen. Then proceed to the next 2 notes which are so, fa, or do, re, mi, fa, so, fa. So because they are 2, I will indicate like that. Then proceed to the next, which is fa, mi, or do, re, mi. The position is mi as shown on the screen. Then proceed to the next note, which is mi, re. Then proceed with the entire stuff and reach a point like, for example, as shown on the screen, with the last note, re. From that point, now I will sing the rhythm of the piece in accordance with the time signature. That is 2 crochets per bar. And to get the rhythm, we have to remember the value of notes, the different notes. That is, for example, if it is a crochet, 1 beat, that is ta. If it is a quiver, ta, te, 1 ta. If it is a minim, ta, like that. So we can sing the first bar, which has 1 crochet and 2 quivers, that is ta, ta, te. We can proceed to the next bar, which also has 1 crochet and 2 quivers, that is ta, ta, te. If we join the two, it will sound ta, ta, te, ta, ta, te. That is ta, ta, te, ta, ta, te. Then we can proceed to the next bar, which has 4 quivers, that is ta, te, ta, te. We can proceed to the next bar, which has 1 crochet, quiver, 2 semiquivers, ta, 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 fa, ta, 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 fa. So joining these 2 bars, we can have ta, te, ta, te, ta, 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 fa. Joining the 4 bars, it will sound ta, ta, te, ta, ta, te, ta, te, ta, te, ta, 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 fa. All we are together. Then we can proceed and finish with the other bars. That is ta, te, ta, te, ta. All that is ta, te, ta, te, ta, te, ta, ta. You can see that the last note is dotted. And we say that dotted notes, we play the value of the note plus 50% or half of its value. We can now sing the rhythm of the whole line as ta, ta, te, ta, ta, te, ta, te, ta, te, ta, 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 fa, ta, te, ta, ta, te, ta, te, ta, te, ta, ta. You can advance and now sing using the words over here. Instead of ta, te, you say si, wa, to, wa, kanisa, tunaunganika katika ushirika. Now that we have gotten the rhythm of our piece, we can now introduce the solfas. And to introduce the solfas, we said first of all we pitch, and because our key is A flat major, using a pitch pipe or a piano, we will pitch key A flat major and identify our leading note, that is do. Remember our do is in space 2. That is do, ti, la, so. So this one will be so, with the rhythm ta, ta, te. That is do, ti, la, so, so. Then proceed to the next bar, that is do, mi, so, do, mi. Then can proceed the next, that is do, re, mi, fa, so. That is so so fa fa mi re. So up to this point it will be so 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 do do mi so so fa fa mi re mi mi. Then we can add the other bass, that is so fa mi re re do do ti do mi re. Remember, we are following our rhythm. So the whole line would sound so 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 do do mi so so fa fa mi re mi mi so fa mi re re do do ti do mi re. Then now we can introduce our words, that is sisi watoto wa kanisa tunaunganika katika ushirika. At this point, we will have translated our piece and sung. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.